So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Albert Nemec, and I'm programming in JavaScript during the day, and in the night I mess around the Haskell. And I came to talk about monadic composition in React application or React-like applications. So just to know where I stand, who knows what is a monad? Oh, that's quite okay, so we are going for some business. All right, so thing is, you are incredibly talented, and you know how to think about a lot of things in one time. Yet you are stuck with writing boring code and boilerplate code, and it's especially when you are dealing with something more complex like asynchronous work. You tend to write like this is, I think, promise middleware. And it's a lot of code. It's not abstract enough, and you really want to go for the abstraction. But it's not easy thing to do, because each data behaves in a different way. Some data might not be there. Some data may not be there yet. Some data you want to log. It's those hidden properties that you wouldn't normally describe in an object-oriented way, where you define methods, and that's the way you describe the data. In functional programming, you would describe it by properties. So it's a little bit different thing. You use complex type systems for it, and you don't have that in JavaScript, so you have to help yourself in different ways. This is like the equation when I was brainstorming how to describe the problem with abstraction. And it's when you have a lot of code, a lot of boring code, it's probably because you are not abstract enough. But when you are highly abstract, and you can have like thousands of OOP classes that are inheriting from each other, it can be quite unreadable. So when you need good readability and you need high abstraction, that's a good pattern you need to search for. And since I like functional programming, let's talk about functional programming, because that's where we are stealing the ideas from for React and for JavaScript, at least for now. So you might say, okay, but we are already going that path. We know what functional programming is, and we have React. It's like composition of pure function. It's awesome. And that is true, and I'm so glad that React exists, but that's just part of your application. There is also the data part of your application. And things, you may say, okay, we have Redux for that, or MobX, or whatever. But that's solving the problem of how to obtain the data and how to store the data. But the model of the application is actually how you transform the data and how you connect the data. And we don't describe that in a pattern-ish way. So this is your component tree, or more like render functions. It's pretty good. It looks like a graph, which is a great thing. It also is composable, which is another great thing, because you can work with it like an algebraic data type. If some of you like category theory, who knows at least something a little bit about category theory? Okay, that's impressive. About 4 people. That's cool. I like it. So okay, you have React, and that's a good thing. So for data, you probably have Redux, and that's very pure, right? Well, it is not that pure, because what is the return value of this patch? I'm just telling you, it's not that important. But it's not describing your model in a way that you could just log. What happened to this prop when it was traveling across this whole application of higher order components and stuff? So we need something that would contain our data and describe it. It should be composable, and it should look like a graph, because we know how to visualize graph, we know how to reason about graph. We know that from React. So you need abstraction, composition, and therefore you probably need monads, because why not? It's a thing. For those of you who don't know what a monad is, this is like a sloppy definition that I try to write, because it can get very academic quite quickly. So monad is a kind of a data structure that encapsulates your data and hides the annoying operations in the composition. Annoying operation could be something like handling async data. So what is handling async data in JavaScript? Promises. So there is the thing. If view is a composition of render functions, why cannot the model be the composition of then functions? Because when you have it on one data, you can log it, you can inspect it, you can see the chain of pure functions which you can reason about. You can compose multiple promises that will wait on each other. And that's modal decomposition, and you want to try it. So we end up with a graph. It looks like inverted because you are usually for one component composing multiple promises into one that will eventually wait. And now we have a problem, how to map those graphs. We need to work it together. So there are also started to think, okay, category theory, I saw a few videos, I'm expert, therefore I'm expert. How could we solve this? Well, I cannot in 7 minutes tell you everything about it, so this is like the thought process. You can work on algebraic data types like numbers. There is some way how you can compose. When you combine number and a number, you get a number. The same is with functors. When you map over functors, which array is a functor, you get another functor. So when you have promises and components, you have to write your decorator that will pin those two graphs together. But there's a problem. When you start passing promises through React component tree, it will break because should component update does not work with promises very much. So I was very sad, and I was, okay, what I'm going to do this talk about? I have no topic, I know nothing. But you also have set state which can solve this for you. And to be quite honest, the set state part isn't that important. You can also force update it in the component, and it will work as well, yes. I usually answer with a meme. So what can you do? You can preload the data. When it's coming, you just promise that all in a hierarchy on the component. Be sure to maintain all the logic that is appending thens and transforming the promise in a higher order component, because we still want to separate. Oh, he's fucking coming. No? No? Okay, I will wrap. This is the last one. Almost last one, okay?
Almost or last?
Second last. Okay? Okay. So you can inspect the data, you can merge the data, you can transform the data, and all kind of shit when you describe your data in encapsulation of a promise or a monad. And this is the last screen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Albert. Appreciate it.